These are landscapes that I would see from my nan's back step, you know. You'd see these are sort of furnaces, the blast furnaces you'd see, and the steelworks you'd see looking over Bilston and the rest of the Black Country from my nan's house in Wednesbury. You know, it's weird that it exists here in art, but not in reality anymore. So at Wolverhampton Art Gallery, it's got about 3 different rooms of exhibitions related to the home of metal. I've just looked at one by an artist called Chris Kirkin, who's done this sort of photographic installation of tracing the work of copper manufacturers in the Black Country. I think what this installation, Scum, which riffs on the Napalm Death song of the same name from 1987, is about, is sort of primal scream therapy for grindcore fans and shoppers who've just come off the Wolverhampton streets to look at some art. And they come in here and turn on the microphones and turn on stuff like this and start screaming. So this is probably the most interesting room in the Wolverhampton show, because it's about how contemporary artists have responded to the heritage of heavy metal and particularly grindcore music in this area. And it's led by Mark Titchener, the Turner shortlisted artist. I think it's a Judas Priest lyric. You should be living, but you only survive. And it's typical of his kind of slogan, you know, ironic approach to slogans and appropriating text and changing them around and giving them different meanings. But I think a lot of the rest of the stuff in this room, it deals quite seriously, you know, surprisingly seriously for an art form which is very much derided, with heavy metals kind of, you know, nihilism and darkness and despair and gloom and all those other lovely things that you get from being brought up in Wolverhampton or Birmingham. Now in the Birmingham Art Gallery, which is, you know, one of the leading provincial art galleries. I mean, I've been in this room before when they've had sort of tapestry used by Edward Burne-Jones and lots of other pre-Raphaelite exhibitions. Now I'm standing in a grindcore room, you know, which is filled with Thatcher and Reagan, enemies of the people, really political stuff from the 80s when bands like Crass and, you know, Napalm Death from Birmingham were doing their stuff. And so it's actually kind of weird. It's weird because this stuff, which is so outsider-arty and so countercultural, is actually being venerated in a straight art gallery.
Yeah, it's completely changed now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It really has. It's taken full turn.
There's this idea that lots of the bands from around here had different sounds depending on which part of the Black Country or Birmingham they came from, and which metalworking industries they may have worked in. I mean, is there anything in that?
I think so. I think I know from our, I can only talk from our point of view, where we come from and where we were brought up. It was you know, we all were factory workers. Yeah. And you know, we lived in them, and worked in them, and whatever else. I think certainly with Bill, our drummer, he went a lot on pressed sounds and clonking, and being a drummer, he'd pick all these up, the rhythms of a press going and stuff like that, you know. And it does influence you. You get these different things going on, with different beats and different rhythms happening. You know.
Yeah. I've got to get the headphones on. I'm not even sure which is the right set. Halfway through the day, I was beginning to doubt myself. I was just thinking, you know, maybe it wasn't as industrialised here as it used to be, you know, as I thought it was, you know, when I was a kid in the Black Country. Maybe it wasn't really as gritty and urban, because now it's not the Black Country, it's the Green Country. It's a really leafy place, post-industrial. But going to some of the galleries, particularly in Wolverhampton, there was a fantastic room in which I saw lots of pictures that reminded me and showed me what that landscape was like. It was full of metalworking and blast furnaces, all of which have gone, all of which were destroyed, you know, in the Thatcherite era or even before, you know. But that landscape and those industries were, you know, really important to me, and they were essential for the, you know, for the catalysts for this kind of music that came from this area, you know, which specifically came from the Birmingham and Black Country.